All right, we's live, kids. Let's give it a minute, see who all shows up, because YouTube has been acting funky on me lately. Like they don't want to let people know I go live.
No, they don't want you going live because they're afraid of what you have to say.
No.
They may also be afraid of my wood, but this,
Well, everybody's afraid of your wood. I'm just hate to break it to you.
Well, no, not everybody.
Well, most straight people are. I don't know what kind of guys you're hanging out with.
I'll remember to tell that to your wife.
Oh, shit.
It's never a dull moment with us around, I tell you.
No, it's never going to be, man. You get a bunch of smart asses in one place together or online together. No, it's never going to be a dull moment. My only thing is I got to cull some jokes that I have that way I don't run everybody completely off.
That bearded guy's out there. What's going on, bearded guy?
What's up, bearded guy? Fire Otter's out there. What's up, my brother?
Fire Otter. Yeah. So
yeah, Night Strike saw me and he had to come on because
I saw him put set up before the show, and I'm like, no. I email him. You know what? I don't think he got my email. I'm gonna text the fucker. So like I wanted in on this one because there's a lot of shit there's a lot of shit that's gone wrong that we're talking about today that I want to get 2 cents in. So please tell me that's not
it's not a but. It's Keystone. Slow your roll. Although Man Against the Masses has photoshopped a Bud Light into my hand.
Hold on. It's Keystone Light.
It is Keystone Light. Can I say?
I might have a Guinness downstairs.
Oh, Guinness does sound good.
Yeah, I
drink cheap beer. I can't drink cheap liquor. I can drink cheap beer.
Oh, beer guy. Oh, come on, man.
Hey,
don't be like that.
Keystone. I'm not going all Dylan. I'm not going all Dylan Mulvaney on you guys.
No.
Oh God, why did I have to have that image? Oh, is it just me who sees and thinks in pictures? And that hurts.
Well, I try not to think about it because I got so much other shit that I'm thinking about, so it's fine.
Oh, I definitely got other things to think about.
I mean, I also drink Killian's, and while yes, it's cheap.
Killian's is damn good,
but I'm a big fan of PBR just because it's cheap.
I'm a huge fan of good German Pilsners.
Yeah.
But the only problem is they cost like $12 to $14 a 6-pack. And, well, I ain't living that large.
Yeah.
If you could ever get Sam Adams Noble Pills on draft, oh my God, that shit is great.
I mean, they don't sell down here. I don't even think they sell it at all. My favorite beer.
What's that?
I used to drink Red Dog.
Oh man, I remember Red Dog.
You remember Red Dog? I loved Red Dog.
That in a long time.
I mean, and people say, "Oh, but people didn't like Zima," and I liked Zima because it was a nice refreshment. Was it really beer? No, it was pretty much a wine cooler at that point.
Yeah,
but honestly, it was refreshing.
Well, see. I feel the same way about White Claws.
I don't drink alcohol or
Red, what's up, brother man?
Or beers to not be refreshed, Well,
there's times where I want a beer taste, and there's times where I'd like something that's a little bit lighter.
Right.
And then, with White Claws, I'm a fat kid. I don't want to quit drinking, and I try to cut down on calories, so
yeah, I mean, so when they stopped making Zima, I had to switch to Smirnoff Ice.
Smirnoff Ices were pretty good.
Yeah, so, but anyway. I like the hard stuff. You know that.
Yeah, Dick. I mean, what? Huh? What?
I showed you that giant bottle of Jim Beam I bought for like $20 at Costco. I'm like, dude, I may drink the whole thing tonight. I haven't opened it yet.
At least it's not freaking Evan Williams Green label, because the last bottle of that I bought, It took me a long time to work through that.
They didn't have green label; they had black label at the for cheaper than the Jim Beam.
Oh yeah, that's because Evan Williams sucks. That's why.
Yeah,
It sucks very much badly.
well, I'm only gonna buy bourbon that's made in Bourbon County, Kentucky. I'm telling you, there's a reason.
God, my taste buds still recoil anytime I think about Evan Williams.
Well, yeah.
It's just ugh.
Anyway, so we got on an alcohol tangent, and it's all Bearded Guy's fault.
Well,
Thanks,
hey,
Bearded Guy.
we're fixing to start talking about the ATF in a minute on a couple of things, so they are involved in alcohol, I guess.
And I can't hold my liquor. It's just I like picking up a 6-pack and being able to finish it off.
So what do we want to hit first? Do we want to hit Arkansas raid that killed the dude? Do we want to hit frames and receivers, or do we want to hit Colorado?
I think we want to start. We want to start off easy. We want to talk about the ATF.
All right, so we got two choices with the ATF. We got frames and receiver rule, or them killing the dude.
Them killing a dude.
All right, so let's hit that. So today, the House Judiciary Committee. Well, let's run everybody through, just so everybody
is that airport traffic controller guy,
on
right?
the same page. Yeah, let me pull this up. And
he was in charge of. The dude was in charge of an airport. Apparently, he was a gun enthusiast.
Because we did
like
a
everyone
long
else
stream on this warrant. Which freaking tab is it? Here it is. Okay, so this dude. So this was the guy who was managing the Bill and Hillary Clinton Airport. Go figure. In Arkansas. And what this dude was doing, he was flipping guns.
This is the setup for a perfect Hillary joke.
Yes. But the dude was he was flipping guns. He was buying guns at a cheap price. He was selling them for a more expensive price. That's all he was doing was flipping guns.
That's technically not illegal, but again, now that they put this new rule through, it is illegal.
Yes.
So he'd have to get an FFL.
Well, because if you're, I don't know, these days, if you sell one gun, you might as well figure out that the ATF is more than likely going to come visit you.
Well, unless you sell it to an FFL, and at that point, you're fine.
No, if you sell it to an FFL, you're still fucked. There's nothing in that rule that says if you sell it to an FFL that you're good. If you sell a gun for a profit, ATF is on your ass.
So you have to sell a gun at a loss.
That's how. Well, I mean, even then, there's a caveat in the law. Even then, you're fucked. And that's how you know this law is not about safety, because they're putting it in through the Safer Communities Act and all this. It's supposed to keep hands out of the bad people,
and it's going to go to court.
Bullshit.
I'm surprised there's not a court case already going for it.
Well, here's the deal with that. If someone brought a court case about it right now, guess what the court would tell you?
Mm-hmm.
The court would tell you have not been injured, so you don't have standing, and they throw the case out. That's how that would work. I guarantee you. Because if you haven't, you can't. I wish to God it was easy to challenge these laws. Sell guns, I simply loan them at a price. Yeah, well, that could get you in trouble too there, Bearded, with these guys. But with this dude, I think over the course of 2 years or so, he sold like 150 guns or some shit like that. And they said his guns were showing up in crimes. Well, guess what the crimes were that his guns were showing up in? Possession of weed. That was it. The only other gun that they could track back to him was actually reported stolen from the dude he sold it to, and it showed up in California with some guys who were mixed up in drugs and cartel. But the gun was stolen, reported stolen, and then guess what criminals do with guns? They tend to sell them to other criminals.
Oh my.
You think? Right. But anyway, for those of you who don't know, ATF raids this dude's house at 6 o'clock in the morning, kicks his door in, They say he fired and then they fired. I'm pretty damn sure he reacted to someone breaking his house 6 o'clock in the morning and started to defend himself, and the cops, shot shit out of him.
They gunned him down. It wasn't the cops.
Yep.
The ATF gunned him down.
Well, yeah, ATF, cops, same fucking difference. One's federal, one's state. So, hey, there you go. But anyway, the
best part of this is why, Coop? What's the best part?
Well, there's a couple. I don't know whether you can get to a best part about this.
I was gonna say the senator that wanted them to show body cam info.
Well, the attorney general of Arkansas said, "Hey, ATF, we want to see the body cam from this raid," because he's the first one who started talking about it. And the ATF basically told him, "Well, we don't have body cam." They weren't wearing body cams. There is a presidential executive order from Biden that says any of these warrants, these officers have to be wearing body cameras. Okay. Now,
are you saying the ATF violated a presidential executive order?
I am saying they more than likely were wearing body cameras and they're lying through their motherfucking teeth. Because they don't want to show what really happened. There was one ATF agent that was injured in this, apparently shot in the foot. And I would really like to know whether he shot himself in the foot or whether his buddies shot him in the foot. I'm betting on one of those two. I'm pretty much betting this dude, the milquetoast white boy, calendar boy, didn't even get a shot off. But now, apparently, Jim Jordan and the crew up there at the House Judiciary Committee, who has oversight of the ATF, guess what? They say they want information on this. This could get interesting. Let me pop to this tab.
That's actually more of a clincher.
This is definitely more of a clincher. But here's the deal, and this is why I want to see this hearing, but I have zero faith in it. Because after Ruby Ridge, after Waco, after a bunch of the other shootings that the ATF's committed, nobody got fired, nobody got censored, nobody lost a job, nothing.
Yeah.
If the Republicans really nut up on this, and especially if by some miracle they take control of, or the Senate gain more control in the House and actually gain the presidency in 2024, this could actually go somewhere. If they don't do those three things, this is going to get buried.
Yep.
100%. Even if they do those things, I will be amazed if anything happens.
Remember, we got a lot of rhinos.
Yeah. Rhinos are not an endangered species, kids. Not the U.S. Congress.
Nope, they're in the U.S. government and your local governments. So if you got a rhino around, you may want to vote him out.
Who else we got showing up? Sam Fisher showed up. What's up, my brother? I can't remember whether I said hi to you. Fluffy Bunny Arsenal, my brother, showed up.
He's fluffy.
Tactical Skillionaire Defense. What is happening, my brother? Dude, y'all's show Sunday was funny as shit, man. I didn't catch it till the end, last little bit of the end, but it was still funny as fuck, which it always is, man.
Yep.
You do a damn great show on Sundays.
No, bearded guy that only works in California.
Well, it only works if you are a true Democrat voter from the word go. And then you can be Hunter Biden. They can catch you with all sorts of shit. And they're like, ha ha, Russian disinformation. Even though they all know he's a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's read through some of this real fast. And then we're going to bounce to a couple other things. We still got,
I don't like that first sentence.
frame and receiver rule that we're going to look at, and then some stuff out of Colorado.
Where it says the Honorable Stephen Dettelbach.
Oh, yes.
He's anything but honorable.
Anything but honorable. So, getting to this, and this was today, written by Jim Jordan and his crew. Dear Director Dettelbach, the committee continues to conduct oversight of the Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, ATF. We write regarding the deadly pre-dawn raid conducted by the ATF in Little Rock, Arkansas, while executing a search warrant on the home of Brian Malinowski. I always fuck this dude's last name up. A local airport executive. The circumstances surrounding the raid, the subsequent death of Mr. Malinowski, and a recent related rulemaking by the ATF raises serious questions about the weaponization of the agency against Americans. You fucking think. In the early morning hours of March 19, 2024, armed ATF agents arrived at the Malinowski family home in at least 10 vehicles. 10 vehicles against this milquetoast dude. Oh, if that doesn't hurt your soul. To execute a search warrant. According to the warrant, the ATF alleged Mr. Malinowski was selling firearms without a license. Footage from the Malinowski's doorbell camera shows ATF agents approaching the house with riot shields, and they forget dressed in full kit.
Is that the same footage where they put tape over the camera?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, you're not allowed to do that. That's against the law.
You'd think. From the Malinowski's doorbell camera shows ATF agents approaching the house with riot shields, subsequently disabling the camera to prevent their conduct from being recorded. Upon hearing the commotion and fearful of home intrusion, Mr. Malinowski awoke, prepared to defend his family. And Mr. Malinowski encountered what he and his wife believed to be home intruders. An exchange of gunfire ensued. Mr. Malinowski was shot in the head and died from his wounds 2 days later. And I have to look through, I'm going to have to go through all their footnotes here and pick through all this. I'm big about picking through footnotes. The circumstances of Mr. Malinowski's death raised questions about whether the ATF followed proper protocol. They didn't during the execution of the search warrant. Department of Justice policy and President Biden's executive order 14074 requires ATF agents, including those conducting the search warrant on March 19, 2024, to wear active body-worn cameras during the execution of the search warrant. The department has since confirmed to the Malinowski family ATF agents were not wearing body cameras during the raid, a violation of department policy. I submit to the class they were wearing body cameras, and they ain't fixing to fucking show that footage. So they would rather eat the bullet, no pun intended, of getting bitched out for not wearing cameras versus showing the actual footage.
Because they may have done misconduct.
Yeah. Remember, this is a dude. They had him at gun shows. ATF agents bought guns from him at a gun show. At any point in time during a gun show, they could have walked up to him, flashed the badge, and said, "Sir, you need to come with us. We have questions."
And I hate to say it, but it's awfully convenient that this happens before a rule drops.
Yes, it is, actually.
I hate to preempt that whole thing, but it's just like, this is awfully fucking convenient. You lost or didn't have any camera footage going after a guy about this kind of thing before you drop that rule. If I didn't know any better, they perpetrated this whole thing just so they could drop the rule.
This was definitely supposed to be an example made. I'll tell you that much.
But because they don't have any footage, they don't have any footage. And yes, I'm using air quotes. I know you can.
Yes, just I can hear it in your voice.
Imagine me having air quotes here. Okay, now because they have no footage, that implies that one, they did lots of misconduct, and two, that all of this was staged just so they could drop said rule.
Yes, This was a show of force, is what this was. All right. Let's see. Let's get back to this. It is also unclear whether the ATF agents complied with Justice Department policy no-knock entries. That policy issued September 13, 2021 by the Deputy Attorney General Monaco directs the ATF and other federal law enforcement agencies to limit the circumstances in which agents may seek to enter a dwelling pursuant to a warrant without complying with the knock and announce rule. In explaining the rationale for this policy, Deputy Attorney General Lisa Monaco noted that because of the risk posed to both law enforcement and civilians during the execution of a no-knock warrant, it is important that the authority be exercised in the most compelling circumstances. Furthermore, Monaco directed that the use of no-knock entries should be restricted to instances in which an agent has reasonable grounds to believe at the time of the warrant or at the time the warrant is sought that knocking and announcing the agent's presence would create an imminent threat of physical violence to the agent and or another person. ATF has not explained why it resorted to a no-knock entry of Mr. Malawalski's home when it could have been peacefully executed. They could have peacefully executed the warrant while he was away from his residence, aka walk up to him at a gun show and arrest him, or go to his work and arrest him. There's no reason they had to kick this dude's door in at 6 o'clock in the morning.
This only makes me want to keep all my firearms loaded.
Yeah. I spent the other night doing nothing but loading mags.
Yeah.
ATF's pre-dawn no-knock raid of the Malawalski home coincided with the agency's implementation of a regulation to restrict the right of private lawful sales of firearms. In particular, ATF seeks to drastically expand the universe of Americans who would be classified as a dealer under federal law, requiring them to obtain a license to become federal firearms licensees, subjecting them to a term of imprisonment of up to 5 years and a fine of up to $250,000 or both. Mr. Malawalski exercised his Second Amendment rights and was a firearms enthusiast. Even if the ATF has alleged that Mr. Malawalski violated the federal law, it does not justify ATF's actions that ultimately led to the use of deadly force. Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
This
like,
again,
it doesn't take an idiot to realize that.
Yeah. I'll pull the picture back of him. He is the most milquetoast dude you can imagine. Managing an airport in Arkansas for the last I don't know how many years.
I hate to say this, but if they're going to go after him for this kind of thing, everyone's next.
Oh yeah, it's definite. Everyone's next.
So I'm going to. I'm not. This is not legal advice, but I'm telling you guys right now, if the ATF comes to my door, I ain't fucking answering it.
No,
I'm getting behind cover.
Knock knock, ATF. Can you come out? No, I can't. Knock knock, ATF. Got a search warrant? No, go away. Knock knock, ATF. We have questions. You can ask my lawyer. There's
a reason for that, Fluffy Bunny Arsenal. I will tell you. I have an old 22 that Mark Novak helped me fix that works. It's a bolt action 22. But the problem is the trigger on it is what keeps the bolt cocked back. So, and it's literally a hair trigger. Any slight movement and that trigger can drop and that bolt will drop. And I don't want to keep that loaded because I don't want to shoot things with 22 that I'm not intending to.
And yeah, you're right, Ray. This is an executive director that puts all of us on a kill list. All of us.
Yeah.
And this is, like I said, if this was about, say, keeping the public safe, and keeping, guns out of the hands of criminals, if you went to an FFL to do the transfer, so I'm going to sell this gun to Fred we go to an FFL, I transfer it to Fred through the FFL, then it shouldn't even be on this list.
No, it shouldn't.
But even if I sell the gun to an FFL, it puts me on this list. It doesn't even have to go to anybody else right away. I can sell it to the FFL. But if they could say that I profited somehow, now, and that is a big black area. It's not even gray. It's fucking black. That puts me on this list.
So what the ATF is saying is, if you bought a gun, shot it a couple times, decided you didn't like it, and could only sell it back to the FFL, you can't get your money back on it. You can't, make a profit on it. It's mind-boggling because, honestly, some of the time you're not going to get that same amount back from an FFL for what you paid for initially.
But I promise you,
if they're saying any money you get whatsoever in exchange for that gun selling to an FFL, if that's seen as a profit, no matter what the amount is, even if it's at a loss,
yes,
that's fucking illegal.
That's where I was going to go, because you don't have to say buy a gun at $500 and sell it for $600. You could buy a gun at $500 and sell it for $300, but they'll say that's more money than you had when you sold the gun. That's a profit. I will guarantee you they'll do that. It's ridiculous. All right, so let's get to this. To advance committee's oversight of the ATF with respect to this tragedy, we request that you produce the following documents and information. 1, all documents and communications referring or relating to the planning and execution of the search warrant that took place at Brian Malowowski's residence on the 19th, 2024, including but not limited to. And this could get juicy if we get some of this. An unredacted copy of the affidavit and all supporting documents of the warrant to search Malowowski's residence on March 19, 2024. All audio recordings from the execution of the search warrant that took place at Brian Malowowski's home, March 19, 2024. All operational plans for the execution of the search warrant that took place. All documents and communications referring or relating to the ATF's failure to follow Justice Department's body camera policy during the raid. Again, Brian Malowowski's home. All documents and communications between or among ATF's Little Rock Field Office, ATF headquarters, the Justice Department, and the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Eastern District of Arkansas, because they're the one who signed off on the search warrant, referring or related to the execution of the search warrant at Brian Malowowski's home. Or 2, all documents and communications referring or relating to the ATF's implementation of the memorandum for Deputy Attorney General dated September 13, 2021. I'll have to look that up. Concerning knock and announce requirements, including but not limited to documents sufficient to show the number of no-knock entries performed by ATF each year since 2021 and the identities of the subjects of these warrants. So they want any no-knocks. After that memo, they want all the no-knocks and they want all the information. Who are the brothers that just got raided not too long back? The ones involved with the super safety?
Oh, yeah, Twin Bros.
Yeah, Twin Bros. I'll guarantee you that was another no-knock.
Yeah.
We ask you to provide this information as soon as possible, but no later than 5 p.m. on May 6, 2024. So they're not giving them too long, which is great. Maybe we'll get a hearing not too long after that, and I'll try to keep an eye out. The House Committee on the Judiciary has jurisdiction over the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives and federal administrative procedure pursuant to House Rule 10. If you have any questions, please, or about these requests, please contact the committee staff at 202-225-6906. The Honorable Jettelbach, that's the page number of it. Thank you for your prompt attention in this matter. I'll guarantee you they're going to blow this shit off. And then copy to, of course, Gerald Nadler, since he's the ranking member on the House Judiciary Committee. So we might end up with some spicy stuff here shortly, and it'll more than likely all get buried and nobody will lose a day's pay over it. So, well, here's the thing, Red. Even if you only gave guns away, remember, this doesn't say profit as in monetarily. They don't give you a percentage that you have to go over for the firearm. You could profit in another way. Like you could profit from someone's friendship. Oh, I gave this guy a gun. He is the boom to my life. Maybe he took you out to dinner. Maybe you guys went out and got beers and he bought you a 6-pack. That's where this is how stupid this shit is.
Exactly.
And I guarantee you that's the way it'll go. So, but it is, I do like the judiciary getting involved in this. Anyway, let me play something. Let me play Colorado real fast because I'm fixing to have to take care of my son for a second. So you guys listen to this for a second. I'm going to disappear.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President,
and then we'll talk about it.
I would like to ask permission
because this
ask
is
for a
ridiculous.
third reading amendment on House Bill 1348.
Senator Liston, will you please explain the need for a third reading amendment?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President and members. Members, we had a good discussion and debate the other day about 1348, and there was a good discussion about, as you recall, about increasing the penalties. We passed one amendment that if you stole a firearm, that it modestly increased the penalty from a class 3 misdemeanor to a class 1 misdemeanor, which was a good step in the right direction. And then we had further debate about if you had multiple offenses and you stole a firearm not once or twice, but maybe twice or 3 times or more, that there should be more of a penalty. And that's what this amendment deals with. I'll be happy to explain it, but I asked for approval for a third reading amendment.
This is to the move.
The question before the body is Senator Liston's request for permission to offer a third reading amendment. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no? No. The ayes have it and permission is granted. There is an amendment at the desk. Will the clerk please read amendment L66?
L66, amendment revised bill, page 6, line 23, after 2.3, insert A. Page 6, line 24, after section, insert, and except as described in subsection 2.3b.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I move amendment L066 to House Bill 1348.
To the amendment.
Very good. Members, once again, as you recall, we had a good, lively debate. Unfortunately, there are people out there, bad guys and bad girls, that they've stolen a firearm not once, and and the penalties were minimal in the past. What this amendment seeks to do, that if you steal a firearm twice or more, which unfortunately it does happen, it happens all the time, and I give you some statistics about
Okay, I'm back.
But what this amendment will do,
he's talking about bad guys and bad girls.
Yes,
raise the penalty to a
at least he's being all inclusive,
which is the lowest level of felony, that you will serve at least 1 year in prison or prison.
Well, you got to look at this, and this has happened in pretty much every state where they've been pushing all this gun control BS. This is an amendment to the safe storage bill that they have. This dude wants to make it a felony if you steal firearms. At least raise it up a little bit, you know?
Hold on. Isn't it already a federal offense?
Well, under the state, it's only a misdemeanor.
Yes, but there's a federal law too.
I have to look up the federal. I have to go into nine. I think it should be in like 922.
If you report it,
Um,
I believe there is a federal law for stealing
But
a
see,
gun.
that's only if the feds come in and actually prosecute under federal law.
Mm.
See, most of this shit, like all the switches and shit you see in Chicago and all these other places, the feds never pick up that prosecution and prosecute under federal law. They never pick it up. Damn near ever. I have to look up statistics on it, but it's almost never do the feds actually pick up the federal end of that and prosecute under federal law. They almost never pick it up.
Mm.
So they're trying to make it at least a felony in state law to steal a firearm. And in every state where we've seen something like this pushed, the leftists, the anti-gun pricks that are always talking about gun violence, never vote for it. So in most states that I know of, it's still a freaking misdemeanor to steal a firearm. And it's just fucking maddening. Why go after the
And you may have a
criminal?
monetary fine, that's up to the judge. But right now, for those people, and we know it's going on, is that these firearms
Gizzard
are
Gary, what's
being
up, my brother?
stolen from vehicles. And that's the intent of the good senators. That's your intent, is to crack down, not only to put a little starch in the spine of the people to safeguard your firearms in your vehicle, which makes sense. But what about the people who are perpetrating the crime of stealing a firearm?
Yeah,
whether it's
Colorado's
a
gone crazy in the
sophisticated
last
handgun or a
probably
long
6-7
rifle
years.
or whatever. Right now, under current law, it's just a little more than a slap on the hand. This will put a little starch in it, that if you do the crime, you're going to do a little bit of time. It's at least 1 year. We need to get the bad guys and girls off the streets, even if it's for a year or more. And to the good senator from Aurora, here we just paid tribute to the Crimes Victim Awareness Week. Well, let's show the
And
criminals
this was
out
today,
there
guys.
that we mean business. And that's what this amendment will do. To give you a little bit of statistics, between 2017 and 2021, an average of 3,300 firearms per year, not total, per year, were stolen from private properties. A lot of those were from vehicles. So what if
A lot of
if
times
we're
they
going
steal
to
the whole
do
fucking
more than
vehicle.
just talk the talk, we will walk the talk as well. We will mean business by showing the bad guys and girls, usually it's bad guys though, that if you steal a firearm and you do it more than twice, you're gonna get a little more than a hand slap. So with that in mind, members, I would ask for an aye vote on.
So yeah, this amendment he's trying to put into the safe storage of firearms and vehicles. He's trying to make it a felony for the second time that you do it. And Democrats are still against it, even though they know good and damn well that most of your guns used in crimes are stolen firearms used by criminals. But they
Remember,
don't
they
want
have
to make the stealing of the gun a felony.
they have a bleeding heart for all the criminals.
Yeah, they can bleed from their noses from all I care, but
No, they bleed from somewhere else, but we're not allowed to say it on YouTube.
well, that's true. They're man-made organs.
I believe you mean self-inflicted.
That is true. But yeah, it's funny to me, these Democrats, man, as hardcore as they are, they want to prosecute a gun owner if they get their firearm stolen, but they don't want to prosecute the criminal for stealing.
On Amendment L066. Thank you very much.
Senator Hawkins
Hey,
Lewis.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, this will be the third time that we have seen this amendment. When this occurs, there will be many other charges that would be involved in this, breaking into the car, other charges. So We believe this goes too far, and we would ask for your no vote on this third reading amendment.
The motion before the body is the adoption of Amendment 66 to House Bill 1348. Are there any no votes? Senators Coleman, Colker, Gonzalez, Majority Leader Rodriguez, Winter, Marchman, Winter. I already got you, so you're on there again. Fields. Jaquez Lewis, Sullivan, Fields, Priola, Buckner, Michelson Janae, Cutter, Exum. Please add the president. With a vote of 19 ayes, 15 noes, 0 absent, 1 excused, the amendment is adopted. To the bill. Motion for the body is the adoption of House Bill 1348. Are there any no votes? Senators Van Winkle, Baisley, Rich, Gardner, Minority Leader Lundin, Will, Smallwood, Kirkmeyer, Liston, Pelton B, Pelton R, Simpson, Priola. With a vote of 21 ayes, 13 noes, 0 absent, 1 excused, House Bill 1348 is passed. Co-sponsors. Senators Bridges, Sullivan, Cutter, Hanson, Michelson Janae. Will the clerk please read the title to House Bill 1174?
House Bill 1174 by Representatives Duran and Snyder and Senator Malika concerning permits to carry a concealed handgun and in connection therewith establishing standards for concealed handgun training classes.
Senator Malika.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move House Bill 1174 on third reading and final passage.
Is there any discussion? Senator Van Winkle.
Thank you, Mr. President. We discussed this for, frankly, hours and hours on Friday, so I won't belabor the points already made in this august chamber. But I would say that there are 29 states of this union that allow for constitutional carry, that allows for its citizens to protect themselves and their families without having to obtain any permission slip from the government. This bill, it not only makes it harder to obtain a concealed carry permit, but puts very arbitrary things on it, like having to pass a test that's 70%, that you have to score 70% on a test, but then has no definition as to what the test might include or even be of. So I will ask for a no vote on this. I think it's something that's meant to make us here in this body feel slightly better while doing absolutely no real world good for the people of Colorado. So I ask for a no vote. Thank you, Mr. President.
All right, now I'm back.
See no further discussion. The motion for the body is the adoption of House Bill 1174. Are there any no votes? Senators Van
Chris,
Winkle,
what's up, my brother? Been
Will.
watching you on the other show.
Baisley,
John
Rich.
Crump and Dark Rich.
Gardner,
Of course,
Minority
you know how we
Leader
were just there.
Lundin, Smallwood, Kirkmeyer,
And this is on the
Listen.
third reading of these bills.
Pelton B.
So this is
Pelton
basically
R.
passage.
Simpson,
And they
Hendrickson.
completely shot down making
Real.
it a felony to steal guns.
With a vote of 20 ayes, 14 noes, 0 absent, 1 excused, House Bill 1174 is passed. Co-sponsors. Senators Bridges,
Yeah,
Sullivan,
Colorado's going down.
Michelson Janae, Cutter,
And until we get
Gonzalez, Fields,
some federal judges. Now, I realize these are state laws, but these will get challenged. These will run up the federal court systems. But until you get federal judges squared away where they will rule off constitutionality and not their feelings, this is all we're going to see.
Please add Senator Hansen as a
And this
co-sponsor.
kind of leads us into the next topic.
Message from the reviser.
Matter of fact, let me while this
April 22, 2024.
quick.
We herewith transmit without comment House Bills 1435 and 1436 without comment as amended.
I
House
think I
Bills 1008,
have
1009, 1115,
one of
1286,
them already.
1288, 1381, 1270, 1372, 1353, 1296, and 1349.
Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the Senate take up Senate Bill 201, House Bill
The
1374,
gun bills in this one.
House
We'll skim
Bill
through some. We'll skim through it real quick.
1383, Senate Bill 186.
'Cause this is
Senate
the
Bill
part of it I
203,
caught
Senate Bill
earlier.
191, and House Bill 1362 on special orders.
And they
consent
went
calendar.
to this is when they're in
the hour
the second
of-
readings. And they don't go through everything. But let's see. Let's do some skimming real
Colorado Consumer
quick.
Protection Act.
Majority. And it just reminds me of other reasonable, L014.
Decision.
Two,
Welcome to my world, kids, because I do this constantly. Matter of fact, Tennessee tomorrow.
and that was because
I should be streaming in the morning. They got some stuff going on with their constitutional carry
the decision
to kind of unscrew some of the stuff.
are making.
So I should be streaming some stuff from Tennessee tomorrow morning. And depending on how long it goes, I'll probably be streaming it for part of the day tomorrow out of Tennessee. So anyway, Night Strike, how fun was that? Democrats prove yet again that they don't want to make stealing firearms crimes, or at least any kind of serious crime. Which I don't understand how they do some of it, because I think in most states, $500 or better gets you grand theft. And I know good and damn well, besides my Taurus G2C, like the guns that I built and a lot of other guns that I bought are well over $500 fucking dollars. So I don't understand how someone can steal a firearm, whether they steal it out of a vehicle, steal it out of your home, anything else, and they don't get charged with a felony. Especially if guns are the scourge of the earth and you have people stealing them and doing bad things with them. I don't understand how that's not a felony. It just... Yeah, Red, that's the thing. And I've goddamn, I bitched about it on so many streams that ain't even funny. Joe Biden is basically packing the federal court system with leftist judges and has been working on that since he actually got into office. Joe Biden has put more leftist judges on these federal district and circuit courts, not to mention Ketanji Brown in the Supreme Court. We're going to be dealing with these people for decades unless our government would actually get off their ass and impeach these sons of bitches. That's the only real control we have over these judges. If not, they just flick their finger up and they're done. So now, for those of you guys who haven't heard, the Vanderstock v. Garland case.
Oh, goody.
Where the ATF basically changed their definition of framer receiver and said they could control precursor parts. When it got shot down in the Fifth Circuit said, no, you can't do that. Those are not firearms. Garland challenged it to the Supreme Court. Now, Firearms Policy Coalition, who was part of this, and the other plaintiffs in the case, signed on to the Supreme Court taking this case up because they said, look, we want the Supreme Court to take it. We don't agree with the reasoning from Garland and the Justice Department, But we want the Supreme Court to take this up because right now it only applied to businesses and people within the Fifth Circuit. If it goes to the Supreme Court, then it will apply nationally. If the Supreme Court sides with the plaintiffs in the case, Firearms Policy Coalition, and the other people involved in it, then it would apply nationwide. So it was a good short-term deal that we won in the Fifth down in the court in Louisiana. And it can possibly be a major deal if we win in the Supreme Court, because then it makes it national, not just Fifth Circuit. It makes it national. That means like Arizona, Arizona the other day where Paul Morady's at, they said Paul Morady couldn't even basically exist. I think it was the Arizona Supreme Court basically told Paul Morady, you can't sell shit. You can't even exist because you're selling these unfinished frames. So this case coming through would basically tell Arizona, you can eat a bag of dicks. You can't stop people from building their own firearms.
Right.
Even with these, scary polymer 80s, like hell, the one I carry every day for self-defense. What was Barton saying? Because another felony would keep them off the streets. Yeah, dude, there's a sure formula to at least mitigating some of the crimes that are out there now. You take the violent people that are committing the crimes, the violent people, and you put them in prison and you keep them there until they're no longer a threat to society. It's really simple. You don't take a guy, we talked about him the other day, Dexter up in New York, who just built some firearms, nonviolent, no criminal history, built them for himself. You don't take a dude like that and lock his ass up in Rikers fucking Island while you're letting every other violent criminal out of prison.
You do if you're Democrat.
Well, yeah, you do if you're Democrat. You got me there. And in any logical brain, that doesn't make sense. But we are talking about leftist Democrats here. So there you go.
And if you're a Democrat, you're listening to this, what the hell are you doing listening to this? 1. 2, why aren't you saying anything against it?
Out there.
And if this offends you, well, it should. Because we find it offensive.
I find it extremely offensive to take people that are not a threat to society and throw them in prison while you're letting violent criminals out without bond. Because when this dude got arrested in 2022, he was in Rikers Island for a week before he could even get bond. And at the same time, they're taking people who were shooting, raping, murdering, robbing, and letting them out on cashless bail. There's no logical way that works. It is only because, this dude had ghost guns. No, rapist, you can go do whatever you got to do. You carjacker. Just keep on carjacking until someone shoots you in the face. And by the way, when someone shoots you in the face, we're going to arrest them. So anyway, Vanderstock v. Garland, getting back to that, of course, was the frame and receiver rule. The parties were, I think Polymer 80, JSD Supply was involved in it under another company name. FPC, Second Amendment Foundation, I think GOA might have been funding some of it. And of course, they went up to the Fifth Circuit. The Fifth Circuit told the government, no, you can't do that shit. ATF, you're full of shit. And then it was appealed to the Supreme Court. And today, early this morning, the Supreme Court accepted cert on this. So they are going to take this case up. And let me show, where's it at? Let's go with the AP just because they're annoying as fuck.
So what also new?
Yeah. So AP, and we'll skim through this, the Supreme Court agreed on Monday to take up Biden administration's appeal for the regulation of difficult to trace ghost guns that has been struck down by lower courts. The justices, by a 5-4 voted, previously intervened to keep the regulation in effect during the legal fight. That's where the Supreme Court basically said, no, we're going to let this thing stand until we actually hear it. Ghost guns, which lack serial numbers, have been turning up at crime scenes with increasing regularity. Bullshit. Because, see, what they do is they never actually go in and lay out the guns that had serial numbers by a manufacturer that were removed and then guns that were manufactured without a serial number. They never separate those two. Again, they're trying to pump up numbers. But even if privately manufactured firearms were showing up in more crimes, now, again, they put simple possession of weed in with those crimes and all sorts of shit that doesn't even have a victim. They use that to pump these crimes up. But even if there were polymer 80s and other ghost guns, now zombie guns, showing up in these crimes, so what? Why the hell are our rights based on what a criminal does? There's nothing in the Constitution that says, well, if this becomes a problem with criminals, then you can just screw everybody else's rights. I don't remember that clause anywhere in the Constitution. One Car, what's up, my brother? Hell, Sam, I wish I could get polymer 80s right now in Alabama, but everything's so hung up.
Yeah.
And for right now, last time I looked, you could get 80% AK receivers, 80% SETMEs, you get 80% AR receivers, all that. This was basically geared right at the polymer frame guns, although some
But
places,
but it affects all the metal frames too.
Yeah, it's definitely affecting a lot of the metal frame stuff because there are some places right now that will not sell an 80% 1911 kit at all. As far as I know, last time I checked, about 2 weeks ago, AK builders still had 80% AR receiver or AK receivers, and I think 80% arms and a couple others were still selling 80% AR receivers. So hasn't affected everything completely, but definitely the polymer into this, they've got it locked down right now. Because how dare someone who is no threat to society build their own gun? But what fucking sense does that make? So let's see. Let me get back to that good old AP here. The regulation which took effect in 2022 changed the definition of firearm under federal law. Notice it wasn't a law change, it was just a definition change to include unfinished parts like the frame of a handgun, the receiver of a long gun, so they can be tracked more easily. Those parts must be licensed to include serial numbers. Manufacturers must also run background checks before a sale as they do with other commercially made firearms. First of all, if it's a firearm, a federally licensed manufacturer or distributor has always had to run background checks unless they were selling to another federally licensed entity.
I know.
This is getting back to that fucking hearing. It's been about 2 years ago. And Josh Shapiro lied his ass off in that hearing. I swear to God, I would have loved to have been there because they say, oh, you can make these guns in 20 minutes. Anybody can do it. I would have set a kit in front of every one of those sons of bitches and told them, hey, in 20 minutes, I want a fucking functional firearm. Get to work. We're in recess for 20 minutes. Roll with it. I want to see a functional gun in 20 minutes. Not a Jam-O-Matic, not something the slide won't even get on. I want to see a functional gun in 20 minutes. Here's the clock. I'm going to lunch. Hell, Josh Shapiro and them couldn't even finish off their own guns. They brought them to, I think, the ATF to get them finished. Because Josh Shapiro and them up in Pennsylvania bought a couple of 80% kits, I think the buy bill shoot kits, and they brought them to the ATF for the ATF to actually manufacture the firearm for them. And then they were like, gee, look, you can do these things in no time. Yeah, if I have someone else do it for me.
That negates the whole point of it.
Yes, that kind of negates the entire fucking point of it.
Yeah. And on that note, Coop, I have to leave you.
Oh, parting is such sweet sorrow.
I know. I'll send you more pictures of my wood later.
Yeah, send me your wood. It'll make me feel better.
Yeah. And your wife will love it.
All right, Night Strike. At least tell everybody. I think everybody out here probably follows you too.
Everybody knows where I am. If you don't, just go to youtube.com/@nightstrike, NIGHTSTRYKE. You'll get on my you'll be at my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So at that point,
follow Brother Night Strike. And we'll catch you on the next one, brother. Take him easy.
Yep. Later.
All right. So getting back to this. Let's see. Where was I at? I was over here. Yeah, I was over here. Getting into the serialization of firearms, which has never stopped a single damn crime. The requirement applies regardless of how the firearm was made, meaning it includes ghost guns made from individual parts or kits or by 3D printing. The rule does not prohibit people from buying a kit or any type of firearm. Let me kill that. So this is merely about stopping people from manufacturing their own guns. Period. That's all it's about. Hey, I'm all about wood and decks, man. Matter of fact, while we're doing this, while we're talking about this, let me look up. I had the tab saved, and God knows what the hell I do with it. Here, let me share this while I search, just in case anything new and interesting has popped up. So this is Congress.gov, basically not the Library of Congress, but this is Congress.gov, where they have to post all their bills, all the communications, stuff like that. So let's do something simple. Let's search for firearms, and we're going to do this. You could do for all sources, and it would bring up committee documents and all sorts of stuff. But let's do legislation. And then let's go over here. Let's sort for newest to oldest. Come on, wake up. See if they've introduced anything since the last time I looked at it. Bill will require a national insurance background check system to notify immigration's custom enforcements and relevant state and local enforcement agencies whenever information contained in the system indicates an alien who is illegally in the... Look, man, no illegal aliens are going to FFLs to try to buy firearms, or at least pretty much none. And I will say this. If our government is allowing you to stay in this country illegally, you have the right to own guns for self-defense, for shooting, for competition. You have the right to own arms. If it's a God-given right, if it's a natural right for us to own arms, if someone is being allowed to stay here in the United States, they have that same right. Parties at Capitol building. Not ready. Just not working. Chat for a minute. Yeah, dude, I heard about that. One of them did. They tried to use their carry permit. This is a person that was here illegally. Tried to use their carry permit for a background check, got denied. I heard you talking about that the other day, which is, yeah, I can see that. Yeah, dude, that's why Alabama, we can't use our carry permits for background checks because there were a few sheriffs that were busted in Alabama that were basically selling permits, not running background checks. There was a bunch of shady shit going on. And you can't tell me Alabama is the only place where that's happened. So yeah. Look, illegal aliens in a lot of these states can get IDs. In a lot of states, they are voting. But when it comes in, I don't agree with just giving illegal aliens IDs. I don't agree with illegal aliens being able to vote in American elections. I do, however, think that they should be allowed to own arms. If they are here, if they're being, allowed to stay here, they should be able to own guns. That is a right on American soil, and our government can get bent. But and that's another rule. It got shot down by a judge. I can't remember which court, not too long back. And that's going to go to the Supreme Court probably shortly too. So that will be another interesting case to watch. When was this? This was introduced on 4/18. So a bill to reform federal firearms laws and other purposes. This was introduced on 4/16. So let's look at this, see if the text of this is out yet. Doesn't show a text, does it? Nope. So this is something I'll have to keep an eye on. I'll guarantee this is going to be like a universal registration. Firearms laws and for other purposes. I hate it. So I'll have to keep an eye on that one. We're going to look at the zombie gun shit here in a second. To prohibit payment card holder entities. All right, so this is a Republican bill. This is trying to stop the merchant codes, which those are already out there. You're not stopping them. Due Process Protection Act. This is a Republican bill. This was introduced on 4/5. So the text is out. Screw it. We'll look at it real fast. So to enforce a requirement of the National Instant Criminal Background Check System to make final disposition of request to correct its records within 60 days and for other purposes. So this sounds like this is a bill where it's going to make it easier to dispute a denial. To enforce a requirement, act may be cited as Firearms Due Process Protection Act. This is getting into Section 925 of Title 18 United States Code. And it's really hard to read these without putting it in the actual text, which is what I used to do. And I need to get back to doing that with the paper cuts videos. Yeah, I'm gonna have to edit that into the existing law, which made it a hell of a lot easier to read doing it that way. So taking this text and editing it into the existing law so you can really read the changes. But just looking at it, all right. In general, the court shall assess against the respondent reasonable attorney fees, litigation costs, reasonably incurred in the action brought under subsection A, in which the complainant has subsequently prevailed. So this is about disputes for denials. For those of you who don't know, you can actually get a PIN number. You got to go back and there's a little bit of back and forth, but you can actually get a PIN number to put in on your FFL background checks, which links that directly to you, which should be your social security number. But a lot of people talked about it before. I was denied on an FFL background check. It's probably about 2 years ago now. And it took forever to get that straight. Because there are a lot of name matches. And even though I put my name and my social security number in, it was all name match that they went off of. And it took forever. That's the only background check I've ever had. That one was denied, then it went to delay or pending, and then it went to delayed. It was almost a month. And it's retarded, but basically what it looks like, and I'll have to edit this one into the existing text of the law, but it looks like what this is you'll have 60 days to where you can dispute the denial. In any kind of legal costs, the state would actually, or the federal government would actually be responsible for, which is nice. I mean, because if you have to fight it with a lawyer, it is going to cost you. So let's back up again. So this was introduced on 3/29. I think I looked at this one. Prevent Illegal Gun Releases Act. This is probably going to be another waiting period bill. Let's look at something real fast and see if we can just skim it real quick. To improve licensing requirements for the retail sale of firearms and other purposes. Subsection. By striking $1,000 and inserting $2,000. Oh, they're raising fees. Oh, man, I got some work to do, and damn, this is going to be painful. So this looks like they're raising fees for FFLs. Paragraph by striking 50 and inserting 2,000. Paragraph by striking 10 and inserting a what? Oh, man, I'm going to have to find this and edit it. Anti-trafficking procedures, dealer's license application required to specify business practices, prevent diversions from lawful commerce. In the case of an application to be as a dealer, the applicant certifies that secure gun storage or safety devices will be available at any place in which firearms are sold under the license. That's something they've talked about for a while. To persons who are not licensees, subject to the exception, safe gun storage, temporary, unavailable because of theft, casualty loss, consumer sales, back orders from the manufacturer, any other similar reason beyond the control of the licensee. The dealer shall not be considered to be in violation of the requirement of the subparagraph. The applicant submits with the application. Good God, these guys are going to freaking. So I've got a couple of bills I'm going to have to edit and do some work on to really run through. Each licensee shall, in the absence of unique or special circumstances and approved in writing by the Attorney General, maintain records of all such crime gun trace requests from firearms disposed by the licensee within the preceding 3 years, with copies of the transaction paperwork records, firearms possession of the licensee, if any, to review before the transfer of a firearm. This is trying to jam up FFLs. If any of their guns show up in a crime, this is getting back in that zero tolerance stuff. You have the Carrying Arms Trafficking Causing Harm Act, which, yeah, okay. Let's see. Catch Act. I don't remember if I looked at that one. I'll have to look at that one. Where is the zombie gun? No Pay Until Peace Act, which would basically I think that's the one. Anytime there was a mass shooting, members of Congress would get their pay withheld until they went through so many months without a mass shooting. I say we just hold their pay. Period. Fine reinforcements. Appropriations matters. Firearm Act. Where's the zombie gun rule? It was. Hold on. What is this? Identify Gun Stores Act? Where did this damn thing come from? It's been a little bit since I've been on here poking around, so give me a sec, guys. We're going to have to step through a couple things. To prohibit states from prohibiting or otherwise deterring the uses of any merchant category. Oh, so this is merchant category codes. This is what this is. Democrats want them. Republicans have a bill to fight them. Yeah, Democrats want to check all your firearms purchases. So, yeah, there you go. Victim Aid Act. There's a bunch of stuff that's popped up since last time I looked. Child Suicide Victims Act. Protecting the Mailing of Firearms Act. So this was a bill that was basically saying that, the post office and all them couldn't prevent mailing of firearms. And here is one of your Republicans over here. That's all the way back in 1/8. Hold on. So date newest to oldest. Did I skip past it? Prevents Caribbean. Give me just a sec, guys. Let me check something real quick, and I'll be right back. So we're going to find this Zombie Gun Act. All right, the house ain't blowing up. Ghost Gun is HR 7746. Okay, I'll look it up. I'll look it up that way in just a sec. Let me show you guys a couple things though on here. So just to show you guys how you can really kind of play with these searches. So we can go and do all these filters on it, from committee reports, treaty documents, House communications, Senate communications. We can go through quite a few of the Congresses. Now there's a hole in here. From 1909 to 1951, there's a huge hole in documents. I think there was a fire at the Library of Congress or something like that. Anyway, a bunch of documents got destroyed. So there's a huge hole in between those 2 years. And then we can go to either chamber, whether it's House or Senate, where the bill actually originated. We can go to the bill type, status of legislation. So we can go from introduced to committee consideration, floor consideration, whether it passed the chamber, whether it became a law. We can go into the committees, status of amendments. We can go to sponsors. Let's go to party. And let's go to Democrat real fast. And we can cut down a lot of this. do. Let's see. Destroy Zombie Guns Act. There it is. Ha! Here we go. So let's go into, because this is really kind of dovetails with the framer receiver rules, because you need a framer receiver to build these things. Like the AKs that I built, those are coming off Romanian parts kits. So those were demilled guns that I rebuilt on, new receivers, rivet in the trunnions, do all the shit, bend them, do whatever I got to do. So those parts kit fall within this zombie gun rule horse shit, which is more insanity. But what it comes down to, if you guys haven't looked at this, is, hold on, I gotta open another pack of cigarettes. What these idiots figured out is that, like, whenever they have a gun buyback or something like that, and they send these guns off to get destroyed, they'll send them to a company. The company will destroy them. Normally, they have two ways that they'll set the contract up. One, the government or the whoever is doing the gun buyback can pay them to destroy every single component. Basically, throw them in a crusher and crush the whole thing. Or at no charge, what happens is the company will destroy the receiver, but then they will take all the other parts off, and then they will sell all the other parts. Triggers, hammers, slides, barrels, all that stuff. The only thing that really gets destroyed is the serialized part of the gun. And this dude, Frost, well, he caught on to this. And he put in this zombie gun bill. Now, and we'll look and see where this has gone so far. But let's go through this. To amend Title 18 United States Code to improve firearm destruction practices and for other purposes. So we got Mr. Frost for himself. Mr. Schiff, of course, Adam Schiff is on here. Ruiz Escobar is on here. Raskin's on here. Jamie Raskin. Ivy, I can't remember Ivy's first name. He's a piece of shit. Ted Lou's on here. Sorrow, Crockett, Miss Norton, Eleanor Holmes. Miss Lee of California. Castine. Mr. Ramirez, Mr. Davis of Illinois. Of course, someone from Illinois would be on here. Robert Garcia of California. Miss Pinger, I can't see her face offhand and probably don't want to. Miss McBath, yeah, that's a killer right there. Mr. Muskowitz of Florida, who's an absolute moron. Mr. McGarvey, Mr. Ryan, Mr. Watson, Coleman. Watson Coleman's a whole nother deal. Ms. Kelly of Illinois introduced the following bill referred to the Committee on the Judiciary. And I haven't seen this come up in a hearing yet, unless I just missed it. If anybody saw this come up in the Judiciary and we missed a hearing for it, please let me know, because I want to watch this. The only time I've seen this mentioned so far was the other day in a hearing that wasn't even related to guns or anything else. It was stuff about border, and Mr. Frost had to throw his whole spiel in about zombie guns. I have to find that little slice of hell. All right, this act may be cited as a Destroyed Zombie Guns Act. And again, to really read this, I'll have to edit it into the text of the law so we can read how this would affect everything. But this is getting into 922 United States Code. It shall be unlawful for any person engaged in the business of destroying firearms while destroying or aiding in the destruction of a firearm that has been shipped, transported, interstate or foreign commerce, to not destroy every component of the firearm. So that one you can understand. So this is an AA section. Yeah, we're all going to need AA by the time we read this shit. And again, I hate this freaking, this is the most bastardized clause in the Constitution at this point in time, the Interstate Commerce Clause. I would say at least 90% of federal gun laws are based off the Interstate Commerce Clause because that got so bastardized in a couple of different cases, of course, leading to the 1934 NFA, where that is the power that the government has, the federal government has, or they're using to regulate firearms, even though it has nothing to do with that. Yeah, you got that right, Sam. Oh, good God. Machine shop is on the bucket list. Damn, you're right about that, Red. I got pretty good on a vertical mill for a little while. I have to learn lathe operations a lot better than I know now. But yeah, this is basically saying that no more can these companies take in a firearm, destroy the serialized part, and then sell all the other parts off. I think it was VSO Gun Channel. His company will do firearm destruction, and they kind of have it set up. You know, we can destroy the serialized part and sell the parts, or it's like $1,000 per firearm if you want the entire thing destroyed. It's a chunk of change, but is what it is. Let's see where else this goes real quick. This gets into definition of engage in the business again. As applied to a destroyer of firearms, Section 921A21 of such title is amended by striking and at the end of subparagraph E. This is where it gets hard unless I edit this into the law. By striking a period at the end of paragraph F and inserting and by adding in the following. So this is what it's adding in. As applied to a destroyer of firearms, a person who devotes time, attention, and labor to the destruction of a firearm or firearms components as a regular course of trade or business to predominantly earn a profit. Oh, they are hooked on that phrase, predominantly earn a profit. It's the same thing that's in the other freaking engaged in the business horse shit. Through services rendered to facilities to facilitate the destruction of a firearm or firearm components. Penalties, such title is amended. Any person who violates Section 922AA, which is this horse shit up here, shall be fined under the title, imprisoned not more than 2 years, or both. And you know it's going to be both. In addition to any penalty imposed on the person under under paragraph 2 of this section. In addition to any penalty imposed under subparagraph A of this paragraph on a licensee under this chapter, the Attorney General may, after notice of opportunity for a hearing, suspend the license issued to the licensee in the case of the first violation, Section 922AA. In the case of subsequent violations, shall immediately revoke a license. So you have to have an FFL to actually take these firearms into your possession to destroy them. And it's kind of, yeah, VSO, he puts out some really good content. I try to catch his stuff whenever I can. So, yeah, it's, so this would basically shut down a large part of the secondary parts market, which is what they're trying to do. They're just trying to make it hard for people to be able to get parts, sell parts, you know, fix your own guns, all that. Think about companies, because I'm wondering how this would affect Numeric and others, because they take a lot of guns in. Older guns, people sell to them, or people sell them parts. And obviously, Numeric can't turn around and sell the receiver, so they're destroying the receiver. So if they actually destroy the receiver, it looks to me like they'd have to destroy all the parts. So that cuts down a huge market, or a very big chunk of the market for firearms parts, even for a lot of antique or historic firearms. So the insanity continues, kids. And those other bills, I'll try to get back to doing some of the paper cuts videos like I started out doing when I originally started my channel, where I'll edit these bills into existing law, and then you can read through them. You can see the actual changes or how these will work. But it's all just scoop of horseshit after scoop of horseshit after scoop of horseshit. It makes fucking 2 scoops of Raisin Bran look like nothing because it's retarded. Oh yeah, they're gonna they're gonna come at this, and of course, again, they base most of this off the Interstate Commerce Clause because they have no actual constitutional authority to do this. But to Democrats, it's the one time they're like a full, every option approach on things. Lawfare, stopping parts, stopping frames and receivers, this whole engaged in the business horse shit with selling firearms, personal sales. They attack our rights from every single angle. Now, if we had a Republican Party that wasn't a bunch of spineless little girls, we could stop a lot of this stuff. But even in the Senate Judiciary Committee that approves a lot of these federal judges, you've had people like Lindsey Graham and others who have continued to vote for these absolute wacko leftist ass judges who will uphold shit like this. And then it takes decades to fight this crap. And it's a constant fight. Every time we make a win in the courts, then it's another 2 losses. And it drives me up a freaking wall because it's the fight that we're in. And I done this even when we got Bruin, people talked about Heller being a great decision, or McDonald before Heller, then Heller won Heller 2, then we get Bruin, and it's just constant shell game with these Democrats attacking from every angle. We have the PLCAA, the Protection for Legal Commerce and Arms. Well, what are they doing? Instead of just going after the gun companies direct, they're going after their advertising, or they're going after them through secondary routes. Are they going to win? They shouldn't. But what they will do is bleed these companies absolutely fucking dry. Even the lawsuit against Remington with Bushmaster out of Connecticut, these families didn't win that lawsuit. It finally just started dragging on so long that the insurance company paid them out. And then, of course, Remington goes under, gets bought out. It's in every option's on the table with these people attacking our rights. Every single option's on the table. Yeah, dude, Red, there's a lot of us right there. And again, getting back to these ATF raids. So, twin brothers over the super safety. This dude in Arkansas killed because he's selling firearms, according to the ATF, without a license, which he doesn't need a license to sell his own goddamn property. Then we end up with zombie gun rules and other BS that we've looked through. And it's really hard to watch everything that's going on these days, to watch all the leftist judges, because there have been 100 and something, almost 200, put on the federal courts by the Biden administration, knowing good and damn well they're not about to uphold our rights. They're going to side with every piece of gun control legislation out there. It's really hard to look at this and think, oh, we'll get out of this if we just vote, or we get out of this if we just call the politicians, and we'll get out of this if. Now, I'm not blackpilling, I'm not saying just ready to fuck all, We still got a stream coming up where we're trying to get, even if I'm not there, Warsaw, John Crump, Todd Vandermeide, and really start to try to put some pressure on Jim Jordan to hold hearings with a lot of these federal judges who have made absolutely anti-constitutional decisions in a lot of these gun cases. That's a stream coming up. There's other stuff that we'll put out about it, but we're going to really try to push it to where, whether it's social media, whether it's letters, emails, phone calls, trying to put pressure on the House Judiciary Committee to hold hearings with these judges and basically tell these judges, you need to unfuck yourself. Because it doesn't matter about your feelings. What matters is, or what should matter, is the text of the law or the text of the Constitution versus the text of the law. And if the text of the law doesn't fit squarely inside the text of the Constitution, then it's an unconstitutional law and it should be wiped out. My idea behind some of this is that when judges uphold these unconstitutional laws, that judge should be impeached, period. End of story. You're gone. See you. Don't let the good, door hit you or the good Lord split you. No, I probably won't, Sam. The wife's fixing to get home, and then I'm going to bounce and cook dinner as soon as she gets in. So, frag out my brother. What is up? If you were in the chat earlier, man, I didn't see you. How you and the doggo doing? Now that you're getting power, now that you're back to freaking getting the laser running. Dude, one of these days, Frag, I gotta get some work done from you. For sure. And for those of you guys who aren't following Frag Out Design Studios, Frag Out is a fucking wizard when it comes to engraving and does some of the sexiest work on firearms I've ever seen in my life. You guys that have followed me for a little while know I love AKs. I'd have to go back, Frag Out, and find the video of one of the AKs you did with all the scroll work and everything on, all the detail work. That thing is probably the sexiest thing I've seen on this planet besides my wife. Still need to get HVAC in the shop and spray booth. Yeah. Definitely, dude. With the work you're doing, definitely the spray booth. Speaking of the wife, here she comes kicking my door in. Frag Out's doing all, you got to understand about Frag Out. So he's using a laser to engrave, but all his designs, he is drawing those out and then programming them. So it's not a simple, he pulls a design in and then it's go. You'd have to go back and look at some of his videos where he is spending hours drawing these scroll works and everything out and all the detail, setting the depth on the laser for the cuts. So you get the actual depth of everything. Frag does crazy work. And then he sells designs. So if you guys were into laser stuff and wanted to get some designs, Frag Out sells them. So it's, yeah. If you're not following Frag, follow Frag or Frag Out. Post your damn channel in the chat. And then other people can go in and look and drool like I do. Ooh, gold inlay work. Yeah, that is a dying art, Red. To have someone go in and actually inlay gold into the like hand engraved design. Yeah, that is a whole nother freaking what? What do you want?
One of these days I'm gonna have some work for Frag.
Yeah, even my wife says one of these days I'm gonna have some work for Frag. Yeah, I'm gonna too.
Yeah, when I get the money, I want the side of my 1911, the slide, to match the grips, the oak leaf pattern.
That would look sexy. Woo! And from Frag Out's work, yeah, and it would look extremely sexy. Matter of fact, hold on, let me find something real fast. And
Oh baby, did you just miss Mama so much? He did. He missed Mama so much.
Hold on. We're going to look at some of Frag. We're stealing some of your stuff real quick.
Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness.
We're stealing it, Frag. Hold on. Is this the one? I'm still in Frag Out's work. I'm still in Frag Out's work.
What? Where am I going? Where am I going? What?
All right, we're going to watch a second or two of this because, like I said, you guys know I love AKs, and Frag Out is fucking serious with this shit. And I heard someone in a chat one time, oh, he's using a laser engraver. What you don't understand is he's drawing all this shit out by hand and then programming it. It's not like an STL where you just hit the button and it does things. No, dude, Mike, I didn't see that. And what's up, my brother Mike? But no, man, I didn't see that. Did a post on IG today. Dude, I'll have to check it out. And for those you don't know, Murphy's Law is another cool dude that's always in the chat. We're always shooting the breeze with, and apparently he had a bunch of his shit stolen. And damn, I hate to hear that. Yeah, them Bowles trunnions is sexy. Let's see. We're gonna blow this up, and make it bigger. But let's watch it for a second, because god damn, this thing turned out beautiful. So I mean, not only is he designing, he's drawing all that by hand and then programming it, but then he's taking the image, the files, and actually freaking cutting that into each part so everything lays out. And you can see it like going around the optics rail right here. You can see how everything lays in. And it's just freaking crazy.
Pat has toyed with the idea of getting a laser engraver.
Well, Pat and my wife said her boss was thinking about getting a laser engraver. And yeah, well, if he needs designs, I know where to get them.
Me too.
Okay, but you ain't doing Frag Out's work. You're doing the Lord's work just by being with me, but
The Lord does give us trials, doesn't he?
But yeah, this is just insane.
I got a new cup today.
All grit, no quit. Oh, and by the way, Frag Out does coloring books too. I've got to get. And if you need grenades, Frag Out can do those. But look, I mean, look how it's cutting around the serial number and stuff right there. It's just crazy.
Does this fit me?
Kinda.
Yeah,
grenades.
Why kinda?
I wanted to get one of them. It's been, a year or so ago, Frag actually had them up, and I wanted one bad.
Huh? Two boys at school beat me up, Clayton and Carson. Well, Christopher.
So,
They didn't beat you up.
Anyway.
Are you covered in bruises?
No.
Let me beat you up.
Man, that thing's just beautiful.
They put me in a headlock.
Bite them.
That would be what I would probably want done, Frag, is to bring you one of the AKs I build and have you just deck it out. I won't go like Ron Wayne already had a toaster done or stole your toaster. But I'd have to bring you one of my AKs. I was just messing with you. Jesus Christ, woman. The only grit you got's in your panties.
If there was ever a time I thought about hitting you for no good reason, that would have been it.
Actually, that would have been a good reason.
No, verbal abuse. I don't consider that a good reason. Would I have been justified? Probably, but would I do it? No. However, when you hit me with the chair, WWE
Don't
style,
believe her. She
absolutely.
abuses me constantly. But yeah, anyway, guys, I'll tell you what, I'm going to end it here. We'll catch up on some more chats and stuff later. I just kind of wanted to go over some of the kind of craziness, hell, just from the last couple days. It will be interesting to see whether the House Judiciary gets documents from the ATF over this last raid or their subsequent raids. I think they want them all the way back to 2021. The frame and receiver rule going to the Supreme Court. Follow FPC if you have an X account. I don't think it's going to come up for oral arguments until October. If I can track down when those coming out, I will be taking the day off and we're streaming that shit live. And even if I can't take the day off, we're streaming that live. And then, of course, the crap with it's all the other sheer insanity going on. And Colorado, man, Jesus Christ, you guys, you're getting hit hard. Now, here's the thing with Colorado. I don't think you guys as governor will be like the governor in Virginia and veto all that shit. Your guy's going to sign that shit as soon as it hits his desk. And there's stuff in Maine that's coming out that's just crazy as shit too. To try to keep up with this, Washington Gun Law does a lot of really good stuff. Four Boxes Diner, of course. Guns and Gadgets, a bunch of good guys to follow that are looking at all this stuff besides just me and my drinking, smoking self. So literally 80% of guns about to be banned. Yes. Dude, that man, it's so freaking insane. And it's not like it's not happening everywhere. Gabriel, dude, I didn't see you come in, my brother. What's up? But even Alabama right now, we have stuff for red flag laws, an assault weapons ban, stuff about triggers. There's quite a few things in the Alabama House and Senate right now. Now, the difference is in Alabama right now, I don't think they have any chance of hell of passing. But they're there. If the composition of our legislature changes a little bit, they'll run it, just like every other state's doing right now. So we got some crazy times coming up, guys. Really and truly, Red, I don't think we're 10 years behind you, man. The way some of this stuff's looking, I'd say 5 to 6, maybe. Especially if things keep going like they've been going. I would love to see it never get a chance to pass our legislature. But I would also love to see courts respect their own state constitutions. But I don't know. It's crazy. It's crazy that you can look at a state's constitution. The state constitution gives the government zero power to manage arms or to control arms or anything like that. And the state courts uphold this stuff. See, all these lawsuits should die in the state courts. They shouldn't even make it to federal, with the exception of a couple federal lawsuits coming down. You know, there's state should be doing state stuff. Federal should be doing federal stuff. But it's definitely crazy the way some of this stuff's landed. And we've talked about it on a lot of streams before with this. So we'll see where a lot of the stuff lands. College State Constitution even says arms are, yeah. That's watching hearings out of Colorado when some of the stuff was going through the House. And people mentioned, hey, our state constitution says this. This doesn't square with the state constitution, and they just pass it anyway, which means they give fuck all about your rights. And then you'll see this stuff. It'll get challenged in state. It'll roll all the way through the state. Then it'll go to federal. But here's the thing about the federal. So I already mentioned Joe Biden has put hundreds of judges on the circuit and district courts. I'm fixing to get out of here. These judges are going to be on those courts for decades. If the Democrats hang on to the White House in 24 and hang on to the Senate and then gain the House, said it before, I really believe it's what's going to happen. You will see some conservative judges retire and they will get replaced with leftist judges. And if that doesn't happen soon enough, all these plans Democrats have talked about, and we can go find video of them talking about packing the court, that will happen. And they will just flood the court with leftist judges. And then a lot of the lawsuits and a lot of the cases that have been hung up in lower courts because they're dragging their feet will go all of a sudden get bumped up to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court will basically side with the government on everything, and then it'll be done.
Dang it.
Now,
Like losing an orgasm.
what I would do if a Republican could ever win again and get a Republican House and Republican Senate after that, was I would just go ahead and pack the Supreme Court again with even more judges and just vote in a bunch of right-wing dudes. And eventually our Supreme Court will be like 47,000 people, and it'll just be an inert. Frag out. Take it easy, brother. We'll catch you after a while. And yeah, that's our Supreme Court would be as big as our House and Senate by the time we got done. Just them packing it, us packing it, them packing it, us packing it. If we made it that long anyway, it's I don't know. Seriously think if Democrats hold on to everything and gain a little power in 24,
God damn it.
we're pretty well screwed. Especially with a lot of the stuff going on with voting in a lot of states right now, where they're pushing through more drop boxes and just all kinds of stuff, man. It's a lot going on. Yeah, red 100%. And I watch a lot of hearings in a lot of states because I follow a lot of state legislatures. And whenever stuff comes up about voting, it's always they're trying to shoot down voter ID. They're trying to throw more drop boxes. They're basically taking everything that did in 2020 and cementing it into law. And I think it's going to be worse in 24. Hope I'm wrong. If I'm not wrong, we're in for a bunch of really bad times. That's the way it's going to be. So anyway, let me shut this down. I'm going to try to cook some dinner and stuff and, try not to have a wife murder me in my sleep after a while. So as always, guys, thanks for showing up. You guys be cool. You perps be cool. Keep that thing on you at all times. And we'll catch you guys on the next one, man. I love all you guys. Frag, Red, Barton, freaking everybody who was in here. Gabriel, what's up, my brother? Let's run through it. Sam Fisher again, brother man was in. Mike McLean, my brother from the north. Fire Otter was in here, my brother. He's been hanging with me for a while now.
Hey, did my uncle pick up that damn rifle?
I don't think so.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Nope. Barton Fink was in, my brother, man. My wife's asking me questions in the background. One car was in here. What is up, my brother? Like I said, I love all you guys, man. Take them easy. Have a good night, guys. We'll probably catch in some chats after a while. Trinity Arms is going on later tonight. I think they'll go on, in just a couple minutes, actually.
You mean to tell me I obliterated that little Tweeter bird for nothing?
So I might actually be able to catch Trinity live tonight. Hell, let me find that real fast, and I'll post that in the chat. So Trinity Arms and Gear. Yep. So this is Brother Joe Va and the crew. Let me stick this down in chat because these guys will be going live here in just a little bit. And they are always a good time and a bunch of really, really knowledgeable guys about firearms technology, you name it. Hold on, why did it not? Did I not copy it? Or is my computer just going stupid? No, there it is. So this is Trinity Arms and the crew. Hopefully we'll see you guys over there in a little bit. Otherwise, you guys take them easy. Have a great night. What are you going to do?
We got a Remington 700 in the shop, caliber 458 Win Mag.
458 Win Mag?
458 Win Mag.
My wife's telling me they got a Remington 700 and 458 Win Mag in the shop today.
Woo!
Daddy likes already. Anyway, let me get out of here, guys. I love all you guys. Y'all take them easy. Have a good night, and we will catch you on the next one. And probably catch you in Trinity stream later. So y'all guys be cool. We'll catch you in a little while.